Have you ever reached a point after turning 30 where something in your life suddenly collapses and you feel like the ground disappears under your feet? Maybe your career stalled, your business failed, your savings disappeared, or a relationship you trusted came to an end. And in that quiet moment, when everyone else seems to be moving forward, you sit there wondering how everything went wrong. For many people, failure after 30 feels heavier than failure at 20. At this age, society expects stability. Friends appear successful. Social media shows promotions, new homes, happy families, vacations. And when your own life doesn't match that picture, the disappointment turns into shame. You begin to question your worth. You wonder whether you've wasted the best years of your life. But here is something important I want you to hear clearly today. Failure after 30 is not the end of your story. In fact, for many people, this is exactly where their strongest chapter begins. Experience, maturity, and lessons learned from mistakes become powerful tools if you choose to use them. In this conversation, we're going to talk about 5 simple daily habits that help people rebuild their lives step by step. These habits don't require big money, special connections, or sudden luck. They only require a decision to start again, even when motivation feels low and confidence feels broken. And everything begins with rediscovering something failure often steals from us: the belief that we still have value. When life goes wrong, many people begin to feel useless. They compare themselves to classmates or co-workers who appear successful and start believing they are left behind forever. But your value is not defined by a failed business, a lost job, or one bad decision. One simple habit that helps rebuild confidence is doing at least one small productive action every morning. Something that proves to yourself you are still capable. Maybe you go for a short walk, clean your workspace, learn a new skill online, or help your family with something practical. These actions may seem small, but they create daily proof that you are still moving. I remember hearing about a man who lost his company in his late 30s. For months, he avoided meeting friends because he felt ashamed. Then one day, he decided to simply start walking every morning. During those walks, he listened to free business podcasts and learned digital marketing skills. Within a year, he started freelancing and slowly built a new career. Nothing magical happened. Small daily habits slowly rebuild his confidence. Another habit that changes everything after failure is learning to accept responsibility without destroying yourself emotionally. Many people fall into one of 2 traps. They either blame everyone else forever, or they blame themselves endlessly. Neither approach helps. Taking responsibility means honestly looking at what happened and asking, what can I do differently now? Maybe market conditions were difficult. Maybe partners made mistakes. Maybe you trusted the wrong people, or maybe you rushed decisions. Whatever happened, responsibility gives you back control. Imagine someone whose shop closed after financial struggles. They could spend years blaming competitors or the economy. But if they instead study what went wrong, improve their skills, and try again with better planning, failure becomes education rather than defeat. Something interesting happens when you take responsibility. People start respecting you again. Opportunities slowly appear because others see someone try to improve, not someone stuck complaining. And once this mindset begins to grow, another powerful shift starts happening inside. You stop seeing yourself as a victim of failure and begin seeing yourself as someone rebuilding step by step. Confidence doesn't return overnight, but each day becomes slightly clearer. As these habits begin taking root, you start feeling small signs of strength again. Energy slowly returns. Decisions become easier. And from there, it becomes possible to rebuild not only your confidence, but also your direction through consistent effort in daily work and discipline, which is where many real transformations quietly begin. One of the biggest challenges after failure is losing structure in daily life. When a job ends or a business collapses, routines disappear. Days become unorganized. Sleep patterns change. Motivation drops. And without realizing it, weeks pass with very little progress, making self-doubt even worse. That's why rebuilding discipline through simple daily work becomes one of the most important habits for recovery. The key is not to wait for motivation. Most people think they need to feel inspired before taking action. In reality, motivation usually appears after you begin working, not before. Start small. Set 1 or 2 tasks every day and finish them, even if they seem insignificant. Maybe you apply for jobs every morning. Maybe you spend 2 hours learning a new skill. Maybe you help in a friend's business while searching for better opportunities. Work, even small work, restores dignity. It reminds you that you are still moving forward. I once met someone who lost a comfortable corporate job in his 40s. At first, he felt embarrassed taking freelance projects that paid far less. But he continued, learned new skills, and built connections. 2 years later, he had more freedom and income than before. Starting small wasn't failure. It was a bridge to something better. At the same time, rebuilding life is rarely smooth. Rejections happen. Interviews fail. Plans collapse again. And this is where emotional strength becomes necessary. Resilience doesn't mean pretending pain doesn't exist. It means feeling disappointment, but refusing to stay down. It means allowing yourself a bad day, then waking up and trying again. A woman I heard about lost both her job and marriage within the same year. For months, she struggled emotionally, but she made one rule for herself. No matter how bad the day felt, she would take at least one action toward improvement. Some days, it was simply sending one job application. Some days, it was updating her resume. Over time, those small actions rebuilt her confidence and eventually led to a better career. Resilience grows each time you stand up again. And something important happens when you stop comparing your progress to others. Social media shows success highlights, not the years of struggle behind them. Many people you admire today once faced failures quietly. Focus on your own progress. Measure improvement compared to yesterday, not compared to someone else's journey. Slow progress is still progress. As discipline and resilience grow, opportunities begin appearing again. Confidence slowly returns. And when you start noticing small improvements, another crucial ingredient becomes possible. Learning to see hope again even after disappointment. After failure, optimism can feel unrealistic. When bills are waiting and plans have fallen apart, positivity sounds like empty advice. But optimism isn't about ignoring problems. It's about believing improvement is still possible and acting accordingly. One habit that supports optimism is intentionally noticing small victories each day. Maybe you learned something new, completed a difficult task, or had a supportive conversation. Recognizing these moments trains your mind to see progress again. People who successfully rebuild their lives often say success didn't arrive suddenly. Instead, hope kept them moving when results were invisible. Optimism fuels persistence, and persistence eventually creates change. Think about someone rebuilding finances after bankruptcy. For months, progress feels painfully slow. But every paid debt, every saved amount, every new client slowly creates momentum. Eventually, life looks completely different, but only because daily effort continued even when hope felt weak. When you combine these habits, remembering your value, taking responsibility, working consistently, building resilience, and choosing optimism, something powerful happens. Failure stops being the end of your story and becomes part of your growth. Life after 30 is not a closing door. In many ways, it's the beginning of a stronger version of yourself. You now have experience, patience, and lessons that younger you didn't have. These become advantages if you choose to use them. Remember, even small changes today can make a huge difference in your future. One productive habit, repeated daily, becomes confidence. Confidence attracts opportunities. Opportunities rebuild success. If you're going through a difficult time right now, I want you to know you're not alone. Many people watching this understand exactly how you feel. Feel free to share your story or struggles in the comments. Sometimes reading someone else's journey reminds us recovery is possible, and together we can encourage one another to keep moving. And if this conversation helped you feel even slightly stronger today, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. This community exists to support people who refuse to give up on themselves, no matter how hard life becomes. No matter what challenges stand in front of you now, remember this: your story is still being written. You still have chapters ahead filled with growth, opportunity, and success. Wishing you strength to overcome every challenge ahead and the courage to build the life you truly deserve.